I'm a marketer, and my dad was a physicist. He spent a lot of time doing research on things like the impact of volcanic ash on the ozone layer. He also spent a lot of time telling me what to do. And as a young boy, to me, it was kind of different. My dad said, be different. He said, be curious. He said, talk to people. And I was thinking as a little kid, okay, that must mean I'd be on my own. So there I was, wearing chuppels, when everyone else was wearing Birkenstocks. And being different was tough. It was a challenge. But it wasn't that bad. There were some benefits to being different. I stuck out from the masses. People remembered me. And I made some pretty good connections. In fact, my first connection using technology was my tin can telephone that my dad helped me make. And being different, being curious, and talking to people also allowed me to make even greater connections as I was growing up. And as a marketer, this made a lot of sense to me. I was outside of my comfort zone connecting with people. I was outside of my industry connecting with people. And one year, this led me to India, talking to strangers, of course, at the Fire Equipment Exhibition and Conference in Mumbai. I was looking for some business opportunities, and I saw a South Korean company that was exhibiting a fire extinguisher that looked and operated kind of like a spray can. And I thought this was really interesting. So I go over to the salesperson and I say, I have to tell you some more information about this. Unfortunately, he didn't speak a word of English, and I didn't speak a word of Korean. He had brought along an Indian professor from South Korea that happened to speak English, Korean, and I would imagine a number of other languages. And through this professor, I learned that the salesperson was also the inventor and the president of the company. I also learned that the president was looking for some assistance in developing the product for the North American marketplace. So a connection was made right there. My being curious allowed me to be at the right place at the right time. Now, speaking of time, I would get calls from these guys at 3 o'clock in the morning without fail. And I would often challenge the president, not just on his habit of waking me up so early in the morning, but on the need for change so that the product would be viable for the North American market. And I was doing this with a translator, one of his assistants. And much to my dismay, the assistant was only relaying the good stuff. So I insisted that he relay not just the good, but also the constructive feedback that I was offering. And so he did. So the next time I'm speaking with the company, there's a new assistant on the phone. And I'm asking, so what happened to the previous guy? Well, apparently he was fired. And the reason why he was fired was because in the South Korean culture, apparently it is a no-no to publicly question or to challenge your superiors. My cultural or lack of cultural understanding unfortunately resulted in a short career for that poor gentleman. But I kept this in mind, and in future conversations, I was sure to not put anyone else in that situation, and I'm happy to say no one else got fired because of me, at least not at that company. And after many 3 a.m. conversations and many emails back and forth, we did arrive at a plan of action for the North American market. I try to learn a lot through every connection that I make, and in this particular instance, I learned a lot about Korean business culture. And I learned this by being curious, by listening, and by simply talking to strangers. I've actually learned a lot and made a lot of connections through technology. The tin can telephone, voice over IP, email, and even social media. Social media in particular makes it really easy to talk to strangers. And by being curious, I've met a lot of like-minded and not so like-minded individuals as a result. Technology does have the power of connecting us with strangers, though. And a good example of this is my friend Rita. I met her through social media about 5 years ago, and she is a well-respected financial planner based in Maryland. If I have a marketing dilemma or a marketing idea, she's the first person I go to. We've done some work together in the past. We even know our children's favorite sports. I didn't realize 5 years ago instant messaging back and forth about marketing could result in such a close relationship. I first met my friend and colleague Anthony Calumet right over here via Twitter. And we respected each other's work ethic and passion for teaching. Anthony one day sent me a message, because really, who talks on the phone, right? And he said, you should join the social media tribe. It'll be good for you. And so I did. And through that tribe of like-minded individuals, I learned a lot about technology, a lot about different cultures, and a lot about the human aspect of having virtual relationships. I now know what my dad was telling me to do. My dad said, be different, so I would see things from different perspectives. He said, be curious, so I would be open to new ideas. And he said, talk to strangers. Well, he didn't say talk to strangers, he said talk to people. But what he meant was I would be open to new ideas. I would understand people better. What I found is no matter what tool I'm using, it's all about connecting by listening and by being empathetic, because that is what really helps you make deeper relationships. So my dad was a physicist. And no, that's not him right there. But he was also a great marketer. And I like to say, thank you, Dad, for telling me what to do. Thank you.